Hello guys, Nixie. Still playing around with this Dr. Stiffler type circuit here. I had to go do some changes to it. I did get both of these bulbs. They're 8 watt, 120 volt bulbs to light on a double loop, but they lit in a weaker sense. They weren't all that strong. So I went back to one second, let me turn this light on. I went back to connecting both of these coils to the same point down here. Way down, let's see, where the heck is it? Down over here. I can't even point to it here. Point it with the scope. It's down in here. So both of these, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can see it myself. Anyway, over here at a certain point there, this little point right here. So both coils are connected to that point, you know. They're both a little bit different too. So one of them is coming out over here onto this loop, and by itself, and then that loop has got a yellow wire that loops around and goes back to the negative rail of the transistor there. And the same thing with the other, has its own loop there. It has its own coil and its own loop, and it also has a ground cable, which is this green one on the diodes there, the 4148s. On the 7th one, I think it is, there's 8 diodes and 8 diodes, so there's 16 diodes on each loop. And then I just tag this thing onto it there, just so you can it's just touching over here. It's got its own little AV plug on it, and you know, it doesn't put out that much light. If I touch it, I can try and mess it up, but if I touch it, I can make it, you know, ground out a little bit more and put out a little more light. It's like, you know, I can play around with that and get some more light. But the idea here was to see how much light I could get from these things. Let me turn off this lamp for a second. And what I found was that no matter how I hooked these things up, 48 of these particular LEDs in series was too much to run on when you connect them in series, both bulbs. So I have them separately this way. And with the 2 coils, it's interesting how you can tune them, because you can you know, you can move these things around, and as you move them around, you have more or less light on one of them than the other, and then you know, you can tune the whole thing like this by just moving it around and finding which is the optimum spot for each one of them. You know, you move this guy around here, and you know, you find that, you know, if you move it a millimeter away, it gets a little brighter and so forth. And where you put these ground lines too, where you hang them and where they go, kind of make a difference. So it's kind of an interesting circuit all in all. I don't know what it's using, because my little meters are all biting the dust when I play around with this type stuff, and the first thing it burns out is the milliamp scale, and this mine I think only goes up to, I don't know, a couple amps or something. I can't remember even. I'm gonna get another one anyway. I did have it working, and it sort of works when it wants to, and then it doesn't, and so I can't trust it anymore. Anyway, it's kind of funny though, when I put this thing on here, these other bulbs, when I light 24 more bulbs, the other bulbs don't don't fudge. It's the same, they're at the same brightness when I add another 24. So anyway, the thing would be for me next is to try to see some kind of a feedback circuit, and I've been working on that, but haven't really gotten anywhere on it. I tried, you know, running some power off of these bulbs here, the positive and the negative, and running it to a battery. Even trying to charge some 4-volt lithium-ion batteries, and I couldn't really charge it. In fact, it was discharging. So I've got to learn how to do that, and just how to do that on this particular circuit. So if there's anybody that has a better idea and whatnot, you can let me know. The scope, let me turn this up just a little bit. It's kind of wild. It seems to be picking up if I get any closer, this camera might go out here, but it seems to be picking up 2 waves. So it picks up one and picks up the other and goes back and forth between them both. There are 2 coils here. This is one coil that's got more output, and this is the other coil that's got less output. But yet, each one, depending on how you tune it, see, if I set it down in here, it does it even more. Like, it just kind of goes nuts with that up and down business. But if I hold it here, it's not so bad. You know. Still, I don't understand why it's not steady. So it's a steady. Let's see, what is it? 12. Let me see if I can focus on it. It goes nuts when I put it right there. But it's, come on. Doesn't want to focus on me. Come on. Well, it's 12 megahertz, 12.2 megahertz. And it doesn't matter if I put the probe on one coil, or if I put it on the other coil, or if I put it over here on the bulbs, or just hang it somewhere in space. It's always a steady 12.2 megahertz, and I can't seem to change that much at all, which I guess might be good, it might be bad, I don't know. Anyway, you can see how it fluctuates when I put it right by there. And like I said, if anybody's got any ideas about that, I mean, I can do various things, but it's kind of funny how when you move these things around, you can get better or worse light. Let me take the probe away, because you know, depending on where you put them and how you move them, and how one coil affects the other coil. See how I can move that coil a little bit closer, further away. And this wire that's going from one coil over next to the other coil seems to be affecting that other coil. So you know, I can move it further, closer away, and that brightens or dims this. So it's kind of interesting playing around with all this stuff, and well, I hope I don't bore you, but I'm still kind of getting off on it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.